Welcome to sales. Now, everyone is in sales. Everyone is in sales, whether you realize it or not, whether you like it or not. You are either selling a membership to someone, you're selling them to do the next challenge, you're selling them to come in 4 times a week, you're selling them to eat better food, you're selling them to come in for a walk with you. And then if you're a parent, you're in sales. You're selling your kids on bloody putting their shoes on, turn the TV off, like pack your bags. We're all in sales. Sales is just simply persuasion, it's ideas, it's problem solving. And the reality is that the most successful business owners in the world know how to sell. Full stop. And then they build sales teams. But sales is if you're in business now, you are in sales. You have to be. You have to be in sales. The first order of business is building something the world needs and getting people to pay for it. That's it. If you can't do either of those two things, marketing, sales, it doesn't matter how great your gym is or how great your sessions are, how amazing your yoga sessions are, or if you're in a restaurant, or how great your food is. No one knows about it and no one's paying for it. Then you don't have a business. So it doesn't need to be a dirty word. In this sales training, and we have done so much extensive sales training, both internally and externally over the last 10, 15 years, one thing that I want you to understand is sales doesn't need to be a dirty word. If you learn the correct process, and if we go through this together and infuse it with your natural style, your abilities, your personality, and your big heart, then it doesn't need to be a dirty word. It can be so liberating for so many people, including yourselves. And sales is a process. It's not a gift. It's not, Hollywood, and your idea of a great salesperson is someone with a sharp suit and super sleazy. It doesn't need to be that. It does not need to be that. So take the pressure off. Let's teach you a killer sales process and a killer sales system that has been responsible for thousands and thousands and thousands of sales across multiple concepts, continents, and currencies, okay? This sales process we're going to go through is responsible for transforming so many lives, because you can't transform lives unless you sold them in the first place, okay? I really want you to understand that. And it's not about being perfect. It's not about not getting a couple of no's. We're doing a good job on paid leads, not walk-ins, if you're hitting a 40% conversion rate. 40%. Now, some are getting 70s and 80s, but let's just go with 40%. That is enough to feed your studio with the right people that you then now have to retain so that your business can grow like wildfire, okay? At 40%, if you're at 40% on paid leads, I'm comfortable that sales isn't what's holding you back at the moment in terms of your growth in your business. So while we're talking about conversion rates, let's explain what that actually means. This is the sales equation. The sales equation is there are leads. So you get leads from a marketing campaign, and of those leads, a portion of those leads pick up the phone. We call them pickups. And then of those that pick up, you've got a chance to have a conversation with them. When we say conversation, we mean you've actually gone through the sales script, which I'm going to explain to you what the sales script is in a separate video. And of those that you've had a chance to have a conversation with, a portion of those will buy from you. That's the sale. Now, when we talk about conversion rate, what we're talking about here is the number of sales that you've made as a percentage of, as a portion of the total leads that have come in. Where people go wrong, or where they get a little bit confused and they put in the wrong numbers in their spreadsheets, is that they're counting conversion rate as the number of sales as a percentage of the number of people that you spoke to. That's not a conversion rate. That's your win rate percentage, okay? So they're the two different percentages. What I talk about more so is your conversion rate, because that gives me a truer picture or a fuller picture of your entire efficiency and effectiveness of your sales process, not just how good you are at saying the script, which is what that is, which is important. So as we go through the process and as you continue working with us, when we start understanding your conversion rates, what we then do is, and this is how I run my sales teams, is that we can then dig in and diagnose which part of the conversion rate is holding you back. Is it your pickups? You're not getting enough pickups. Is it your script, which is your win percentage? Is it your mindset? Okay, so if you're getting lots of conversations, but you're not getting many sales, we need to work on how you're going at your sales script, which is why you give us sales call recordings. If your win rate's high and you want to increase your total sales volume, well, we need to get you speaking to more people, which is then working on your pickups. And if you're getting great pickups and you're having great conversations and you're making good sales and your conversion rates are great, but you want to increase more total sales volume, well, we just need to get you more leads. Can you see how that's the sales equation? So the 4 basic principles I want you to remember when we go through this sales training is that no one actually wants to buy a membership. They want an outcome. Really key point to remember. No one actually wants your membership. They want an outcome. They have a problem to solve. Your product is in fact the obstacle. It's the way that they've got to get there. It's not the end solution, right? They are the hero, not you. So we want to sell the island, not the flight with no leg room and shit food. We want to sell the island, the suntan, the cocktails and the memories, not the transit time and how many engines there are on the jet. And no one cares. We want to get to the island, okay? Your product is the plane. It's the obstacle. We have to use it to get to there. The fortune is in the follow-up when it comes to sales principles, okay? People won't pick up the first time. Get over it. Like I'm just telling you right now, there's no point telling my team that no one's picking up. Like we understand. Like we know we've been here before, but we've got strategies in place, which is why we're going to train you guys to do this. Just get over it, keep going, keep moving along, all right? Remember, most successful people in business know how to sell. And then ultimately, when you get on the phone, follow the damn script. That is the biggest thing that we're going to go through. We're going to go through the script in a separate video, but follow the script, follow the script, follow the script. Before we get into that, I want you to understand what sales is and what sales isn't. So sales is absolutely about helping the lead make the best decision for their future. It is absolutely about understanding the lead more, the prospect more than they understand themselves. It's absolutely about listening more so than telling. And it's absolutely about holding people congruent and accountable and aligned to their goals and their behaviors. What sales isn't though, it's not high pressure or hard closing people. And the reason is because you're going to have to, like in subscription businesses, like recurring revenue businesses like yours and mine, there's no point being really good at sales and hard closing people because you have to actually work with them. We're not just selling solar panels here. It's not about making people feel bad in order to buy from you. It's not about manipulative, making them feel like they're not worthy, so they have to buy your stuff in order for that. No, yuck, disgusting. It's not about transactional thinking. It's not about slimy, canned rebuttals to handle objections. And it's not about making offers to everyone and anyone with a heartbeat and a credit card. No, guys, we're wanting to build a great business, and a great business has a community of people in your studio that should be there. They match your tribe. You are curating the most amazing, most powerful community in your business that you love, you enjoy, and you're going to help them transform. So for that to happen, it's really important for you to remember what sales is and what sales isn't within the world of the Geronimo Academy. Now, in the Sale a Day system, here's how sales works. A lead's going to drop into your Wingman CRM or whatever CRM that you're using. And where possible, you're going to try to call them within 5 minutes. And then you're going to keep following up for 10 days until you sell them. You're going to take payments over the phone, and then you're going to set them up there and then in your system and onboard them there and then. And the best thing to do after you've made a sale is make another one. And I say that because your conviction, your confidence, your energy is, you're on fire, you're on a roll. Trust me, we've seen it all the time. Every single sales team in the world knows that as soon as you made a sale, make another one. Like just bring the next person because you're just going to ride that high. We want to aim for 40% conversion rate as your target, okay? So, and a sale is defined as taking payment, not just having a great chat and inviting them down to the studio. At 40%, this tells me that you've got a working offer and your sales skills and your processes are working well enough. And if we go back to acquisition maths, which was an earlier video, at 40%, you're getting a really strong return on cash, the cash that you put into the marketing machine. A really strong return on ad spend, and you're making profit. So that's a really great place to be, okay? At 40%, I'd even suggest we can start scaling your ad spend. We can even start turning your prices up, and which means that you're going to be making more profit per sale. The biggest mistake we see in sales is people don't take payment over the phone and they try and take it down in the studio. What that actually does is every time you inject a new part of the process and you step in the process, you create and invite drop off. You lose sales this way. I know it's comforting for you, but it actually tells us that it's a lack of sales confidence as the main issue here. That's the first thing. The second thing is you make your pitch all about you. You lose sales this way. People don't care. They want to know about themselves and how you're going to help them solve their problem. Another mistake is you don't call fast enough times, or at the right times, which means that you struggle to get the pickups and you don't make enough sales. There's plenty of videos that you're going to go through here in this, in our sales training talking about speed to lead and follow-ups. It's so important. Like a lot of Harvard studies show that, if you can get to leads within 5 minutes, you're 100 times more likely. And if you get to them within 24 hours, you are so much more likely than beyond 24 hours. So speed to lead, speed to lead, speed to lead. I want you to keep remembering speed to lead and intensity. When you do get them on the phone, people don't follow the script. And it kills me when I listen to your sales call recordings, you waffle, you don't go deep enough. You just don't follow the script. Or you do, and you don't have any personality and you just sound like a bloody robot. Don't do that. You guys have got great personalities. I know you care about these prospects. Show that through that. The script is just there to make sure that you go through persuade. There's a lot of stuff going in that script, which we're going to touch on next, that goes through a lot of persuasion mechanisms, a lot of authority building, and just helps you sort of build structure to your chats with these people. And ultimately, another mistake we see is that you're undermining your sales process and your sales by still having a free trial or a cheap trial on your website. You know, you've got someone, you're building up the tension with someone over the phone, and then ultimately they get to your website and go, oh, I could just do it for free. Oh, and it's kind of like, think of your sales process as like you're blowing up a balloon and you're building tension, you're building pressure, you're building like really great, sales elements. And then the free trial, boop, you just burst that with a needle and it just goes, just deflates and it goes nowhere. Okay. So they're the biggest mistakes that we see in sales. Do the opposite and you're going to do really, really well. Now, welcome to the S.O.L.V.E.R script. Now, this sales script, honestly, this sales script is dear to my heart because this got me out of so much trouble when I had my first studio and wasn't making any money. And I had to learn how to, I thought you could open these studios and people would just turn up and give you money quite happily and no questions asked. Not the case, friends. And I suppose if you're at this point now, you might have experienced that already. I had some sales experience in the past, more so from, working some jobs as I was younger and a little bit of corporate stuff when I was in the corporate world, but I never knew how to sell a gym membership. I've bought them before and I didn't understand any of the process behind it and how to not just kind of sell people who are the most likely and most ready to buy, because I also realized that, well, that's not how you're going to get ahead in the industry. You've got to actually know how to turn people from like cold to sold. I mean, I went deep. This was kind of like early YouTube, like watched Grant Cardone stuff, Dan Locke stuff, Jordan Belfort, and really learned sales scripting. And this is what I've come up with. Like when I say that this has been the most powerful, one of the most powerful resources in our entire academy to turn plenty of studio owners just like yourselves from like struggling to thriving and from poor to profit and from like scraping by to now building teams and scaling into second locations, it's because of this sales script. So please, I want you to lean in on this. Now, anyone can do this. Sales is a process. It can be learned. Nobody actually wants a gym membership. They want the outcome. We've gone through this, right? And everyone's in sales. The story of, we want to talk about, the holiday, the destination, not the aeroplane, not the 14-hour flight. We want you to prescribe as a doctor and we want you to be the lifeguard and the lifesaver, kind of rescuing these people out of the water. Practice, do the reps. Like I role played every single day. Now, the S.O.L.V.E.R stands for this. So set the scene, open the gap, labeling, vary the pitch, expel the concerns early, and run the close, which is like a certain line in this script. So set the scene, which means like these are the 6 sections of the script, but done in a way that will help you understand. And we've got a bit of a self-audit for later on where you might be doing well and where you've got some gaps in the sales scripting as you're actually executing this. This is the same training that I built sales teams on. Sales teams that sold memberships on behalf of all the studios that we worked with. It's how I indoctrinated them. It's how I inducted them. It's how I performance managed them. It's how we identified where they could get better on calls and ultimately make me more money and make the studios more money. So set the scene is where, it's the part in the script where we build rapport. We try and get in the friend zone and we want to relate with the people that we are speaking to build. Yeah. And to ultimately set the scene of where they've been, what's worked, what hasn't worked, blah, blah, blah. Oh, really important. We want to open the gap. We want to establish the difference between here, where they are right now, feeling the pain, and there, from the smiley face to the sad face. We want it to be vivid. We want to really get really specific and dig deep. So we understand why now, why is this so important, how will that make them feel? So that really stretches and opens up the gap. Then labeling is a really, really effective sales technique where we label what they say as what they need with, our language, which will feature later in the pitch. But most important thing here is not to pitch too early. We don't start pitching yet. This is not the stage to pitch, but it's where we label what they're looking for with what we have. Then V stands for varying the pitch, where we slow it down, we engage and we get specific. We vary the pitch based on solving their problems. We expel their concerns early. This is the objection handling. We clarify early, ask the right questions, use trial closes, and there's some examples that I'm going to mention to eradicate and expel any concerns or objections early. So it's early objection handling. And then we run the close, which is a line that we have in the script where we have the dramatic price drop, we've got the scarcity, we've got the urgency, and we've got that confidence and conviction that you have when you come through and you execute the close because you are the expert in your field. That's the S.O.L.V.E.R framework that happens through this script. All right, so here's the script. This is a game changer, honestly. I can't make this any bigger or any bolder. It won't let me. Actually, it might. No, it literally won't let me, okay? But if I could, I would. Follow the script. Trust the script. There is so much going on in this that is kind of like underlying techniques weaving through these different sections. It's built like that on purpose, designed in a way to maximize your conversion rates, okay? So what I want you to do is before the call is have this script ready. Remember I told you to print it out 5 times. Have the script ready. Have your phone, got your notepad, you got your pen, you got your laptop, you got your calendar ready to book them in. And also what I did as well is I had Facebook open. The reason why I did that was because like when I used to get the lead, when the lead would come through, I would do a quick Facebook, Instagram, TikTok search and see if I can find this person and, you know, look for different clues that I can use to help me build rapport in this opening section or in the rapport section, which I thought was a bit of an X factor that I had. And I learnt this over time. Okay, so if you saw that they, you know, had a profile picture of them holding a surfboard, you know, you might talk about surfing a bit later on. You know, as that's what do you like? You know, you like surfing or you like to keep fit. Why do you like to keep fit? I don't know. You surf or something? And they, yeah, I do surf. And you go, oh, so do I. If you actually do. The amount of hobbies that I ended up telling people that I had was phenomenal. So this is the opening section. Okay, there's a lot going on here. So let me go through this and I'll explain what's happened. So I almost now say this really enthusiastically as if they know me. So I go, John. And they go, yeah. And I go, it's Dozer from Studio. How are you? And they go, oh, it's almost like do I know this person? So automatically you've got a gap that's opened up because they haven't quite registered that this is a marketing call or a sales call. And then you've got a couple of options here. If you're making the sales on behalf of the studio, you can say the owner asked me to call you, or you could say, mate, I just wanted to give you a quick buzz as it looks like you've showed some interest in our program. So you got the 2 options. You got the owner or I just wanted to give you a quick buzz. Now listen, I've only got 2 minutes to chat, so I'm going to keep this super short. Now, the reason why we're saying that, I only have 2 minutes to chat, so I'm going to keep this super short. So what you're doing here is you're saying like, I don't have time either. So before they've got time to say I don't have time, you've gone, I've only got 2 minutes to chat, so I'm going to keep this short. So you're adding some persuasion and authority now because, shit, this guy must be busy / successful. Now, the purpose of this call is to find out a little bit more about yourself, what you want to get out of the program, just so I can see if it's going to be the right fit for you. What that's called a pre-frame. You've pre-framed the fact that you've got the decision and ultimately kind of the power shifted that they're actually auditioning for you in a way. Okay, you're not like a telemarketer trying to take money off them. You've given them a call in response to them putting through their interest, but you're busy. You've got 2 minutes, so you're going to keep this super short and you're going to see if it's going to be the right fit for them based on some questions. So the idea here is we want to get this done in about 4 to 6 seconds. Really strong. You get this done in about 4 to 6 seconds without rushing it. People are going to know that you are sharp as a tack, you mean business, you've pre-framed your authority, and you've created the right conditions to move into the next level. So now we go into the rapport stage. So mate, aside from health and fitness, and then we slow it down, what's the Jamie story? And then we slow it down. We slow it down. We want to build rapport. And they might go, oh, what do you mean? You go, you know, have you got job, you know, what do? You got married, your kids, you surf. And what you're doing here is you want to like massive intelligence gathering, but like you also want to just like the goal here is to find and fuse a connection with these guys. I'm going to write this down. Like the goal here is to find and fuse a connection with the lead. That is the goal in this part here is you know, based on what they're saying and what they're responding, your goal here is to go like, bang, I got it. That's my connection, okay? To build rapport. Once you feel like you've got that, again, another minute on this, is you go into the mindset side of things. So don't rush this. This is where we really want you to slow down. The goal here is to get into the mindset of the caller and really understand their pain. Let it get deep. I mean, shit, there's been like the amount of times that there's been tears in this part here is not uncommon. Okay. Like you can probably be vulnerable first to help this thing along, but also genuinely care about these people and, you know, treat their responses with dignity and respect. Write down notes and use it to make your pitch more helpful, but don't pitch yet. So look, have you heard of, you know, this brand before? What got you interested? Like you ask these questions, you know, so where are you at currently? This is the now, this is the point A. And where do you want to be, you know, in 6 months from now or by Christmas? That's the point B. That's the gap. Okay. You've opened up the gap. So you've established the gap. Now we want to open it. Why is that important for you? We want to sort of get some emotional pain points here. And then how would that make you feel if you got there? And then you might have to paint the picture for them to make it so much more visible and vivid for these guys. So instead of like lose weight, how much weight? What does that look like? What would you be able to wear if you did that? What have you got upstairs in your closet that you can't probably fit in at the moment that will allow you to fit into that? And I'm just using some easy kind of, you know, fat loss as an example, but you know, whether it's mobility or mental health, like paint the picture. Like how many sessions a week do you think would actually like help you with your mental sort of health? Yeah, great. Okay, yeah. So what would happen if you didn't do that? What does life look like then? Run me through what a day feels like and looks like there. Run me through what a day in life looks like and feels like when you are hitting your 4 sessions a week. Like, you know, and then in the past, what stopped you from achieving these results? You know, you see the curiosity tone. What do you think you need us to do to close that massive gap from where you are today to where you want to get to? What is it that you think you need? And then they start saying things. This is where you start labeling. Oh, so nutrition support. Oh, so accountability. Oh, so like workshops. Oh, a community, right? You start this is where you label. And then finally, like, why now? We want to look for now versus later. Why did you reach the point now where you need help versus what would happen if you didn't do anything now and just wait until next year? You want to dig for emotional drivers and like needs assessment and time assessment. And if you didn't get these results by then, whenever then is, how would that make you feel? Dig, like peel it back. And then just to check, because I think I've got something for you, but like on a scale of 1 to 10, if I had the plan, how important is it for you to achieve this? 1 out of 10. And then has anyone ever sat with you and shown you how to achieve these goals? We want to find out, again, where some gaps are for them to realize that there's been gaps along the way and it's not their fault. So now what you do here is you take the gold nuggets of what they've said, and you basically recap and you almost tie it up in a little bow for them in this recap section, and you connect your program as a solution. So you go, look, based on what you've told me, you know, and then you recap it, you go bang, bang, bang. I think you'd be the perfect fit for our whatever, which is designed for guys like you or girls like you who want to be. And then you basically rattle off what they said that they're looking for without doing the things that they don't want to do. And then, you know, I've added some lines in here that, and this works so well, but you just take away and you distance yourself from the other competitors out there, that over time, when you do more and more of these phone calls, you will start to get a pattern of what people are looking for and what they're trying to avoid. And then ultimately what they're just looking to do. So you see some examples here. For guys like you who want to be lean, fit and strong without giving up their social life. And mate, no, there's no powerlifters or bodybuilders here, man. Like we don't have any Miros, no fucking egos, no dickheads. Just guys that want to live a healthier life and wind back the clock a bit. You hear them say, oh my God, yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Or over here, like designed for girls like you that want to get toned, restore their energy, feel proud of what they see in the mirror without giving up their social life or drinks with the girls. Have some fun in here. Like, particularly if you're actually speaking to your target market, you know, like we used to say things like, you know, without giving up cheese and wine night, watching Married at First Sight, or, you know, a day at the races with the girls. Oh, great, good. Oh, you guys are human. Like, tweak this based on who you're actually selling to and what avatar. No powerlifters or bodybuilders, just ladies that, you know, strong women that want to get a healthier lifestyle and just feel better about themselves. Wind back the clock a little bit. You can hear them, right? So now we're going to the pitch. So now insert your offer. This is just an example. So don't just use this because you have it here in front of you. Sub this out for what you've got. But all these things need to actually solve the problem of what your avatar is actually looking for, okay? So this will get standard. But what's important here is to not just list what they've included, talk about the benefits. So instead of like just saying you get a meal plan, it's you get nutrition coaching and education, because we want to actually educate you and empower you so you can achieve lifelong results without ever having to go on crash diets or juice detox or shit like that you don't need. Mate, we do body scans. What we'll do is we'll do a scan at the start and then a scan at the end, so we know exactly where to look. You know, like you can see. So this is where you start including Like you start talking about what's actually included as part of your program in order for them to go from sad face to smiley face. Then ultimately, right at the end, you say, now, does that sound like something you've been looking for? Question mark. Or does this sound like a good fit to give you that, that jump start that you need? Question mark. Now, here's the big thing. Do not move on until you get a resounding yes from them, because this is a trial close. Do not move. Yeah. You're like, okay, there's no point trying, because now what's going to happen is you're going to try and close them in this next section. They're not going to buy. You're going to have to get into objection handling, which might go a bit pear-shaped. And then you're going to try and do the follow-up, and you're going to tell us that leads aren't picking up. No. Get a resounding yes, and if not, go back and problem solve. Oh, that didn't sound like an absolute fuck. What do you think is missing? They might say something. Oh, I'm looking for a pool. Oh, mate, we don't have a pool. Or it's like, I'm looking for ice baths and saunas. Have you got that? No, we actually don't. Now, you could, but we partner with such and such down the road. Or why is it that you think you need, and then you go circle back to their goals. But assuming you get a yes, now you move into the close. This is the close, okay? Now, what we want to do in this close, we want to avoid things like sign up, contract, commit. These are all like hectic words in the sales process. We want to say something like this. We go, look, we've got our next intake starting on Monday. We do have limited access because we like keeping the groups nice and small and intimate so that everyone feels like they get the right level of attention, because we need to help you get from A to B, right? And once the spots are gone, they're gone for that particular week. Once we've onboarded you here, I'll book you in for that Monday, or you can start on any day. That's it. Whatever your lines are there. Now, obviously, we want to get them into a group induction. Now, normally it's 356. These are just random numbers, okay? But I want to illustrate something. Normally it's 356 for everything. Sometimes I don't even say the dollar sign. You can play around with that. Normally it's 356 for everything that I've mentioned to get you from A to B. But because you've come through the Facebook promotion, we've brought this price down to only dramatic pause. Like, trust me on this one. It's a dramatic pause, or it's normally 356 for everything. But because you've come through the Facebook promotion, we've brought that price down to only $199 for the whole thing. It's a spring special, summer special, Black Friday special, fucking whatever day of the week it is special that you've got. And you want to hear you want to hear their reaction. And so getting started is super simple, mate. What we're going to do is we'll go through your payment information over the phone now, and then we'll book in a time for your orientation session. Now, I've got all your details. I might just confirm your email address. You read out their email address, and they're going to be like, okay, fuck, we're doing this. Great. And then we'll send you your receipt and confirmation to this email. Now, for the $199, here comes the close. Here comes the close. Don't get weird. Would you like to use your Visa or MasterCard? Now, at this point, don't talk. After you've said, would you like to use your Visa or MasterCard? Don't talk. The first person that talks loses. I can't be any clearer than that. And then they'll start reading out their number and go, great. Number when you're ready. Perfect. Great. Well, look, listen, it's awesome talking to you, Jesse. Mate, I'm so pumped for you. And you want to make sure that they leave feeling excited, right? So you're excited, nervous, don't worry, mate. Everyone feels this way, but like you're making the right decision in order to go back to their goals, back to their goals, back to their goals, back to their goals. Now, this is the bonus. We want to ask for a referral, okay? Now, some people like to get a friend and family member on board for their support too. I can make that call for you. Who would you like me to call? Always try and get one, maybe up to 3. Now, listen, well done and great to have you on board, and have a great day and leave them on a massive high. Team, there's levels to this S.O.L.V.E.R script. What I've just gone through there is the base level. When you come to the calls, the live coaching calls, and there's additional advanced training on this. We talk about tonality, we talk about the 7 touches, we talk about the Wolfpack Diamond. There's so much more to it than this, but this is the base level script that once you know this, this is absolutely enough to get you to 40% conversion rates on all the leads that you're getting from the campaigns that you're just now launching. Do me proud, do yourself proud, make some sales. I believe in you. Sales objections are so common in sales. In fact, a lot of people would argue, like the pro sales people would argue, a sale hasn't started until you got your first objection. So definitely expect them. Now, the best way to get a sale objection, though, is to nail the script, the top part of the script, so you don't get the objection in the first place, okay? So this is our number one key principle there. You can, in our experience, you can obliterate 60% of the objections you get by just nailing your execution of the script with regular practice, role play with us. As you get started in the program and you do your call recordings, we will review your call recordings. You'll just get better with it. So I'm going to go through some stuff here in this playbook. This is the way that we trained our sales team that have sold more gym memberships and studio memberships than any other team that I know. It's the same thing. Now, eventually you're going to get so used to this that you won't even need to come back to this training because you'll just know how to handle that objection. But even the most successful salespeople and sales teams in the world spend 90% of their time training, role play. Focus on following the script. When you do get objection though, no need to panic, okay? I really want to highlight this. Do not panic when you get an objection. This is when the sale really begins. The worst thing you can do is buckle and just, completely lose your composure and, hang up the phone. You just need to be prepared and then overcome them. So the biggest thing I want you to know is as soon as you get an objection, always agree, okay? Always agree. Don't combat them on it. Don't call them out on their bullshit. You and I both know it's probably bullshit, but you've got to always agree. Think of it like martial arts when you want to use the power, harness their power and redirect it in a different way. Take the time to listen. Avoid the temptation to jump straight in and just cut them off because then, that'll bring up their buyer's resistance is what they call it. So, you want to go, yep, totally get it. Look, totally understand. Yeah, totally, completely agree. We've helped hundreds of nurses just like you find the right time slot amongst their shift working schedules. Because in one of our studios, we had 3 big hospitals around us. So nurses used to always say, I don't know if I can make it because of shift work. We go, mate, I totally get it, mate. I knew you'd say that. Listen, we've helped hundreds of nurses. We've just got to find the right time slot amongst your hectic shift work schedule. And, with 40 something sessions on the calendar, we just got to find 4. We've just got to find 4. And then you bring it back to their overall goal. So we go. First step is to agree. The second step is to isolate. Now, this is where we stay focused on what the lead is actually saying and the problem that you're helping them solve, right? So many objections hide the underlying issues that the lead can't or isn't ready to articulate. Now, you know that because of after so many people that you've helped, you actually know why they're saying, I don't have time, as an example. So once you've agreed and then you've isolated, then you redirect and then bring them back to their target, which is what happens here, right? So we agree, we isolate, then we redirect, and then we move back around and we see if we can close the sale again. That's effectively the objection handling framework that works right here. Now, there are more advanced versions of this. In Geronimo, I teach different advanced versions of this, but for 70% of you, this little framework here is such an easy framework for you to get your head around, and you can use it with the sales over the phone, you can use it over chat, you could use it with your rollovers, you can use it to sell your kids on why they should pick up their toys after they've thrown the tantrum. Same thing there. Now, I think what's important for you to know is what we call the law of the 3 10s. Now, in order to buy, a lead needs as close to 10 out of 10 confidence in 3 things. Now, the first thing is the brand and the product. This is going to come down to the strength of your marketing, your content, your brand awareness, the part in the script where you explain what you do and how you do it, right? Then they're going to need confidence as close to 10 out of 10 on you. So this is, do they believe you're going to be the person that's going to help them achieve their comeback per se, their transformation? But ultimately, they need to have 10 out of 10 confidence on themselves, right? We've seen a stat in the US that shows the average female over there, stops and starts her fitness comeback 8 times on average before she finally loses the weight and sticks to it. Now, are you going to be part of that first 8 or are you going to be the 9? Your job here is to transfer enough confidence to this person that this is going to be the last time that this person has to start again. Just remember that, okay? These are the 3 10s. Now, not everyone needs to be a 10 out of 10. Me, I back myself. I probably got some questions on this person in front of me and then the product, the brand. That's essentially a lot of the research phase that we're seeing now as part of the 7-11-4 principle and how much people are now researching other brands online. So it's super important for you to understand that when you go through the script, it's not just reading out a friggin' piece of paper or it's certainly not just taking orders. It's about transferring of confidence and belief to the other person. That's when a sale is made. So some other common injections. I want to try a class first. Yeah, 100%, mate, 100% you can. It's a great idea because I really want to make sure that this is going to be the right fit for you. But what we're going to do is this. Do you want to come in at this time or this time? And these are the times you're actually going to be there, right? Rather than just going, I'm just going to pop in and try a class first one day. No, yeah, great idea. Love that. All right, tomorrow, day after. AM, PM, 6 or 6:45. Let's get them down, get them booked in. You're here to maintain control over the conversation because whoever has control of the conversation wins. Now, don't forget that these people are on a trial, you're trialing each other. They're interviewing you and you're interviewing them. So it's important shift to make sure that you don't, get it stuck in the commission breath or desperate for the sale. I need to think about it. Mate, of course, it's perfectly fine. But my concern for you, Jeff, is you've got this goal here of achieving, you want to get down to, I'm just going to use it just for sake of this. I know weight loss isn't a massive thing for everyone, but just as an example of this, look, mate, I know you want to get down to 90 kilos for your wedding in 2 months, and we've got the plan. I know we're going to help you achieve that. In my experience, dude, if I can be real with you, when people want to go away and think about it, they generally don't end up doing anything and nothing changes for them. And I don't want that to be for your wedding day. So, you told me this was a 10 out of 10 for you, and I know that's super important for you. And you also told me you've been thinking about it for 5 years. Do you mind if I ask you exactly what you want to think about? Now you're isolating, okay? So you've agreed, you've isolated, and then they'll say something, and then you can then redirect and go like, mate, I'll tell you what I'll do. I can offer you, you can do a risk reversal here. You just kind of talk around the subject, right? But what you want to do now is that now you want to redirect. So like once they've isolated, then you can talk about that and problem solve for that and then redirect. So here it's like we've problem solved for it with a bit of a risk reversal, and then you go back to, then going back to selling them again. Now, I'm traveling soon. Can you reach out to me later? Like, totally understand. I'm going away myself over the break. What most people do if they're going away is they actually get themselves set up on the 28 days now and then choose their start date for when they're back. So we can get you set up now and choose your own start date, meaning you won't have to worry about sorting it out then. Now, this is killer, especially in the holiday seasons. This works right now. So see how you've totally understand. You've isolated the fact that they don't want to get started and then have to stop it. Like you've isolated that issue, you've problem solved for that, and then you've redirected back onto the sale. It's too expensive. This is almost always a red herring. So go deeper and find out what they're really worried about. It might be the lack in perceived value. Maybe they don't trust you yet. Maybe it's the 310 situation. Or maybe they're afraid. Go back to 310s. Like I said here, I don't know if I have enough time. Problem solve before the objection occurs. Make sure you go into when someone goes, I'm not sure if I have enough time, totally agree, man. You don't want to start anything and then not make use of it. So why don't we do this? There's 40 something sessions on the timetable. Our job here is to just choose 4. Now you said that your goals were A, B, and C, which was important for you because of X, Y, and Z. And you said you were 10 out of 10 important for you on this. So all we've got to do here, mate, is we've got to find 4 sessions. Right. And we do that all the time. In our studio, we used to have a big timetable on the TV. We used to just point at it and literally get them to choose 4 sessions and then make the sale. I don't feel comfortable providing my card details over the phone. Now, that's why building rapport and trust is so easy, and the conviction and tonality when you get down to the close is so important. So what we do there is we just let them know that we're processing it and they're going to getting a receipt. And we can say that a lot of people, like to use their BSB and account numbers. This definitely works and you don't have to worry about security. And we don't always need their CVV. So we can tell them, look, we don't actually need your CVV. And then we can do it on the spot with them. So it just takes away any of their hesitation around things like that. So look, they're the most common objections, but with anything, the best way is to think about this, right? Agree, isolate, redirect, rather than to combat them or to call them out for it. The best way to handle an objection is not to get them in the first place. And the way you do that is by absolutely nailing the script, doing all your role play, and this transference of confidence on these 3 things. Follow-ups is such an important part of sales. In fact, just get used to it. Most people won't pick up at the start, okay? So don't even try and tell us that. We know. But where the real pros separate from the rest of the market, the studios that really, make money, separate from the rest of the market who are out there broke, is in the speed to lead and in the follow-ups. So this training, I'm going to show you how to follow up properly, what we expect, our standards for follow-ups, and how to nurture your leads using Wingman CRM. So not every lead will answer on the first call you make, and that's okay? But what's not okay is thinking that every lead's going to pick up on the first call, and when they don't, you kind of get the shits and then you don't try and call them back. So it's important not to rely too much on automations. We're starting to see a little bit of that happen now, and it's ugly. So let me just kind of save you the drama and tell you that there is a sweet spot between automations and just manual pick up this thing, right? And actually speak to people. You'd be amazed at how many times we've actually submitted a lead into different studios when we go and travel and do some work around the country, and studios don't call us back. I bet it's the same studios who bitch about the government and want a handout. Guys, what we're going to teach you right now is the reason why so many of our studios in the $1 Million Studio program are making bank right now. So yeah, think of the automation like Wingman CRM, and this combined is going to be your supercharger. Okay. So what I want you to know is that speed to lead is so important. So here are some pickup stats that we talk about a lot. That's come out of Harvard. Basically, it says that within 5 minutes, I want you to get to the leads within 5 minutes because you are 100 times more likely to make successful contact with that lead. If you get to it after an hour, you're still 7 times more likely than waiting longer. But you look at the difference between 107 just after, 55 minutes. After 24 hours, you're 60 times less likely to make contact than if you got to them within the first hour. So you see it drops off so sharply. All I want you to know from here is that even the smart people at Harvard say, call your leads within 5 minutes. That's what I want you to know. So once they do pick up, then it's about executing their script, and that improves your win rate. So this is all about making sure that you're getting the most amount of pickups. Now, most pickups and sales happen after the 6th attempt, but the problem is most people give up after the first or second. So speed to lead is most important first, and then it's about making sure that you're trying enough times to get them on the phone, which is what this 10-day follow-up sequence is all about. So remember, once a lead's dropped in, they're going to enter into your new lead sequence that you've hopefully edited and made it your own in Wingman, which we've done training on that already. And if you can't remember, you can head back into all the training modules and you find that. Now, the first 5 days are automated. The text messages and emails are being sent out. You just need to make your manual calls and leave the voicemail, which is that sweet spot between the two, okay? Now, once the lead is engaged, which means they reply or they've gone past the first 5 days, that is where you need to take over with your personalized texts, phone calls, and all that kind of stuff. Now, we're going to show you how to create email and text templates so you don't need to kind of manually type that shit out all the time. That's in this training right here. Aside from that, I want you to follow the 10-day sequence below. This is what we go through with people who do this, make the most amount of money. And then once a lead is sold, I want you to move that to the sold stage in your opportunities tab. That's your sales pipeline. Just literally drag that card to the sold stage and close the sale. That way you keep your pipeline nice and pristine. If it's a no sale, move that lead into the reactivation list so you can send out some, the next time you send out a parachute method or re-engagement campaigns at the start of every month, or at the end of every month, depending on when you do it, then, they'll get picked up through there. Okay, so here we go. Here's the 10-day follow-up process. Like I say, most people stop way before the lead is even ready to buy. This fixes that. So what this shows here is, up the top is the days, and the 3 rows here signify the 3 different times of the day that you're trying. So generally a morning drive, lunchtime drive, and an after-work drive. The green dots are your attempts, okay? So for the first 3 days, you're going to try 3 times a day for the first 3 days at 3 different times of the day. And that is proven to be the single biggest reason why we've got clients that are at 70% conversion rates, because they're trying 3 times a day for the first 3 days and 3 different times a day. Here's a little trick. If they don't pick up the first time you called them, call back straight again. That's called the double tap. It works so many times. So try that. On the 4th day, we give it a rest. Day 5, we give it 2 more attempts. Day 6, we give it 2 attempts. But here on day 6, after 9, 10, 11, so already we're at 11 attempts, right? So after that, on day 6 is generally when we text the offer out. This is, up until now, they haven't, really seen the details of the offer. So on day 6, this is now when we text the offer out. By day 7, we do 2 more attempts, and you'd be amazed at how many times people buy now on day 7 because you've given them the offer and the details. Some people buy differently, right? So now they've seen the details. Maybe their buyer safety is up, so then they actually purchase on day 7. Give it a rest. Day 9, you send out the, okay, we're closing the intakes. Just wanted to check. Just checking ? On day 9, and day 10 is absolutely last attempt. Now, people ask all the time, when do you leave voicemails and that kind of stuff? We only want you to do that once per day for the first sort of 3 days, and then kind of sporadically as you see fit during the sort of, from day 5 onwards, once every couple of days or a text every couple of days. Look, you'll start to get the hang of it, okay? There's not really an exact science. I can't tell you why day 4 is a rest and day 5 is not the rest. But what I'm trying to say here is, look, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's 18 attempts. That's what we call call activity. There's 18 attempts on 10 days on the lead, including the first 5 minutes. Mate, if they didn't pick up and buy, or if they didn't pick up after that many attempts, I'm quite happy for you to eyeball me and go, Doze, I tried my fucking best to get these guys on the phone. And then we're going to probably be looking at your marketing to make sure that you're getting the right people. That makes sense? But until you get this activity, and until you're calling within the first 5 minutes, and until you're actually overlaying some manual selling on top of your automations, I'm going to tell you to pick up your follow-up game. Now, the other part of the sales process, aside from the mindset, the script, pickups, is follow-ups. Now, if I ever kind of get a tattoo about sales, it's going to be this: the fortune is in the follow-up. Not every lead's going to answer on the first call. That's okay. Get over it. I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen, okay? What I don't want you to do is think that, like, if they didn't pick up after 2 times, they're all of a sudden time wasters. They're not. And if you do that, you're going to be broke. forever. Every single successful person that I know knows how to make sales, and they know that fortune is in the follow-up. The trick here, though, is to not rely too much on automations. I think this is a bit of a trap for a lot of people. They rely too much on automations, memory, or post-it notes. So, we love automations. Don't get me wrong. In our wingman system, there's a bunch of automations that fire off within the first 5 minutes for the next 7 days. But we've never met an automation that outsells a human with a heart. But we don't need to be fully automatic, and we don't need to be fully manual. There is a sweet spot in between. And if we do that right, it's going to be like using Wingman CRM and this sales process that we're going to go through. It's going to be like doing Tour de France on a Harley Davidson. It's no competition to the rest of your market. Remembering, most pickups happen after most people start to lose interest in doing the follow-ups. Yes, speed to lead is absolutely important, and executing the script. And aside from that, it's going to come down to nailing this 10-day follow-up sequence. So how it's going to work is, once a lead drops in, they're going to be enrolled in your new lead sequence, which you have hopefully customized for yourself as part of this training here in your Wingman CRM. Or if you're using your own CRM, then you've done that yourself. And then they'll get some automations, within, the first few minutes. So that's going to start happening. Once the lead replies, that's called engaged, or they've gone past the first 5 days, you've got to then take over with some personalized texts, okay? So don't rely on this thing to do everything for you. This is where we've got that sweet spot. You get the best of the convenience and the speed of the automations, but you get the care and the genuineness of you controlling what happens after they've engaged or the first 5 days. Now, again, you can customize all that over here, okay? This is all happening over here. If you ask our team how to do this, we know that you've skipped this part. And then what you do is you follow this 10-day sequence below, which I'm going to explain. And once they've sold, you move it into the sold stage. And if they've told you to get stuffed, then you make that a no sale and you move it into the no sale stage, into the reactivation list. So that the next time you do a parachute method, which is your database reactivation campaign, it's your chance to go, what about now? And that's what all the guns do in our program. So welcome to the 10-day follow-up process. Remembering, most people give up and they don't do the follow-ups. It's such a missed opportunity. It's such a missed opportunity. All our pros, the Eagles that are in the top level of our program, like leading the industry, they're like icons of the industry. They know how important follow-ups are. So up the top here is the days, and these 3 rows are the 3 times a day that I mentioned before. And then the green dots are your attempts, okay? Your call attempts. Well, so what's happening here is, for the first 3 days, you're trying 3 different times of the day for the first 3 days, which is like, we're going to front load this sales process and put intensity at the front end, which is where they're most likely to pick up. Then we're going to give it a rest on day 4. And by the way, only once a day do you leave a voicemail and a text, and you might even email as well. On day 4, we give it a rest. Day 5, we go down to 2 attempts. And then on day 6, we do 2 attempts on day 6. Now, on day 6 is also when we text out the offer. So up until this point, if you've been following our process, they don't actually know the details of the offer. So you've tried them, 9, 10, 11 times already, like we're in the green zone of when people start picking up. At this point, for those who haven't sold yet, you might want to just text them. So for those that need a bit more buyer safety, now they know what you're trying to call them about, which is why on day 7, when you try them 2 more times, you'll be surprised at how many sales happen on day 7. Day 8, we give it another rest. And then 9, the theme of day 9 is like, okay, we're going to close the intake. I haven't spoken to you so far yet. Just letting you know, we're closing down the intake maybe tomorrow, lunchtime tomorrow. This might be a Thursday. So he's like, by the end of the week, we're going to finish the intake. I'll try one more time. And that is the 10th day there. Boom. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. It's 18 attempts in 10 days. With some rest in between. Now, before you think that's way too much, like the only person that gets all 18 are the ones that are showing signs that they're least likely to buy. You're going to capture most of them in this phase here. In fact, in this part here. Okay. Now, we go through a step-by-step guide with like screenshots on how to actually do your lead follow-ups with Wingman in this particular guide right here that you can follow along at home. In sales, it's all about getting pickup rates, because what happens is you can't sell someone if they didn't pick up the phone, okay? And so all the time, people are going to struggle. You're going to struggle with getting people to pick up the phone. I'm telling you this now in order for you to, it's not going to be a surprise to me or my team if you go, people aren't picking up. That's part of welcome to sales. That's part of it, right? But what's more important here is to understand pickup rates, understand the game around pickup rates and how to increase these pickup rates. So let's firstly understand why people don't pick up. Okay. Now, this is in order of least common and easiest to fix to most common and hardest to fix. Okay. And we'll solve all of this in this one training. They probably don't even know who was calling. The call came at a time when they were busy or distracted. They don't pick up phone calls from random numbers, if it's random. They were confused about why they needed the call or who's calling. They were overwhelmed and intimidated by the call, and they don't think it was worth their time. Not urgent, unique, painful, etc. Now, we're going to go through all this in this training, and we're going to unpick and kind of unravel some of these things and solve for it in the way that we train all our customers and members on how to dominate sales and build really effective, profitable sales systems and behaviors and cultures in their business. Number one thing you need to realize in sales is sales comes down to timing. It's always going to be a factor of timing. Now, the smart people over at Harvard has done all these studies, and we've put this in an X and Y here. So the likelihood of successful pickup rates and the time from when the lead first dropped into your pipeline, okay? So what they found was if you can get to a lead within 5 minutes, you are 100 times more likely to make a successful pickup with that prospect versus 30 minutes from the lead dropping in. And that's probably because they're still in pain. They're probably still on your website. They're probably still looking at your ad. They're probably still in that buying mindset. And if you call them straight away, they're still in your, shop effectively in their head. Now, if that extends out to 1 hour, that 100 times comes down to just 7 times more likely versus waiting longer than 1 hour. Now, that's obviously still effective, 7 times more effective than waiting a bit longer. But you compare that to 100 times. I mean, I know what I would try and do in order to stack the odds in my favor. If we extend that out to beyond 1 day, so a lead drops in at Thursday, 12 o'clock, and you don't get to it till Friday, 1 o'clock or beyond, you're down to 60 times less likely than if you got to them within the first hour. So you see here, this graph's probably not even showing the severity of the drop-off, but ultimately the headline here is call your fresh leads within 5 minutes, where possible. Don't ask my team about what happens if a lead drops in at midnight. I think you understand. Okay, we're not asking you to wake up and set alarms. We're just saying, where possible, ring your leads within 5 minutes because speed to lead is crucial. Now, if they don't answer right away, leave a voice message, send an SMS, because now you're building context. Remember, back up the top here, people don't understand who was calling. They came at a time when they were busy or distracted. Now, ultimately, if you get to them within 5 minutes, they're not distracted, they're on your website, or they're looking at your stuff. If they were confused about why they needed the call, well, you've sent them a voicemail and a text message, and you called them within 5 minutes. They're in pain, right? Which is, absolutely worth their time because, right, they are inquiring. So here's an example of what to say or what to leave. And now that's going to always tweak and adjust as you get better at it and as you build your own templates and you build your own vibe and all that kind of stuff. But this is an easy way for you to stack the odds in your favor and then for them to identify who is calling at a time where they're distraction free. Okay. Now, the second thing is where people get stuck is they're not calling enough times. This is another factor of timing in sales. Most people give up after the third attempt. They've tried them once, maybe they've tried them twice, and maybe they sent them one text message. What I can tell you is that 80% of sales happen after the 6th attempt, right up to 11 and 12 attempts. So don't leave yourself open to losing out on sales opportunities because of poor follow-up or giving up too early. We talk a lot about the 10-day follow-up sequence and making sure that you hit 15 attempts, 18 attempts within, 10 days at 3 different times of the day and just making sure you're covering all the bases. What we want to do is we want to always choose that second call attempt, that third call attempt at different times of the day, rather than when you always call your lead. This is where we see, studios with soft conversion rates go wrong, is they might hire a salesperson or an assistant or maybe themselves, one call drive or 1 hour in the day where they do all their calls. Now, the problem is if you set that 1 hour in the day at the same time because that's when it's most convenient for you, you're only really trying, it's like if you go fishing and you're only really trying one spot and say there's no fish, there's plenty of fish. You've just been going to the same spot every time. You haven't tried different spots. It's the same thing here, is you're not calling enough times, but it's also a mixture of not calling at the right times, which is the third element of timing for sales. Now, traditionally the best call times there's a kind of before work, there's an after work, and then there's around lunchtime. Now, I want you to try that with your particular segment, your particular avatar, and your particular market. So it might shift, okay? So what I want you to understand here is that there's 3 different times throughout the day to call. I want you to get really specific with knowing what it is for your market and your avatar. So before you call it quits and say no one's picking up, I want you to walk through this speed to lead flow chart and make sure that you're covering all bases and you're being really honest with yourselves about where you could be improving your activity levels in order for you to get more pickups and make more sales. Now, here's a quick bonus tip. I'm really proud of this one because this came out of our community of members and owners just like yourself who tried different things. They started innovating and they realized that they were really great at closing people once they got them on the phone. But in order for them to increase their total sales volume, they just needed to work on their pickup rate. So they focused all their energy and intensity on the pickups because they knew that once they got them on the phone, they can close them. So they basically pioneered what we now call the sales holy trinity, and it helped them hit 70% conversion rate on paid leads, not organic leads, not walk-ins, not referrals, but paid leads at 70%. So now they're profiting like $200 per sale and they're doing them 1 to 2 times a day. Ultimately, what it comes down to is the sales holy trinity is this. For every lead that drops in, they did a double dial or a triple dial, which means they called, they didn't answer, they called straight back, and sometimes they called straight back again 3 different times a day for the first 3 days. And the pro move that a couple of them do as well is they've got access to different mobile phones. So they use different phone numbers to really cut through to the person who's just their leads dropped in. Now, what they also did was they, what we call surround sounded the prospect on 3 different channels. Emails, so they were sending them emails, they were texting them, and also they found them on Instagram and, followed them and started the conversation over there as well. That might seem a lot, but what I want you to come back to is the fact that these leads need your help. So do not give up on them. Think about the lifeguard, okay? You've got what they need. They're not happy at the moment. That's why they submitted their details. Don't believe them when they say they didn't submit their details. These days in like the Meta ad platform, it's almost impossible to accidentally submit a lead. You've got to press 5 buttons. It's not true. They're just a bit scared. So like the lifeguard, if you see a hand up in the ocean, you've got to jump off that tower, run down to the jet ski, get on the jet ski and burst through all those waves, wave after wave after wave after wave, getting pushed back to get out there at the back of the waves and grab that person and bring them back into safety. That same intensity is what you need to implement into your pickups so that you've got a chance at saving these people. This is the best part. In the whole sales process, actually probably getting to know people and helping them solve their problems is the best part. But this is really the best part when it comes to your business, okay? Which is taking the payment. So when we talk about qualifying a deal closed, like what is a closed deal? A sale is completed when the member, the prospect that's now become a member has paid you. You've actually made the transaction. The reason why I want to stress this point is because when you go through the program, we've had people in the past that say, oh yeah, I've made a sale. And we go, great, awesome. And then we look at the bank balance or they tell us, about their bank balance and it hasn't moved. And it's because, they think, no, they said they would buy. It's like, no. Where is the paperwork? So a deal closed is a deal closed, which is you've taken payment, okay? So how that works is once the offer's been made, you've handled the objections, the lead has verbally agreed to move forward, then the next step is to follow what is on the script so you can collect payment from them on the call. That's the big thing there. All you need to do is Visa or MasterCard, Amex, whatever, you grab the credit card detail, bank details over the phone and process it through your system. What you want to do there is you want to move as much friction as possible through this process. If we give these people a chance to back out of these decisions, it's not because of it's a trust thing. I've been through it, through the training already. It's like people have a natural resistance to change. Okay, so if they didn't need your help, they would have done it already in the first place. This is when you need to kind of like ride the emotion of the sales call here and just grab their payment, grab their commitment, and hold them accountable to it. So if you need to set up an account for them, using whatever your membership software is, get the details for them on the call, like onboard them on the call right here. Dude, don't add more steps for them in this stage. Where possible, try not to kind of have them like download apps, fill in their details, do that all themselves. Like once you got them, as much as possible, you want to remove the friction from the process. When you have an upfront payment, this is where you might need to set up an intro offer in your system, or you might need to make some adjustments to your back end as you go. But once you do this once, you'll be able to do this 1,000 times. Now, a couple of things to know is if you're trying to take some payment off people on the phone and it's declining, just make sure, and this is another great example of why you do this on the phone with them, because, in the past, we've done thousands of sales calls. thousands. When you've let them go and then you've tried to take their payments and it's declining and you try and call them back, sometimes they just ghost you. Okay, so you want to do this on the phone. You want to try the card. If it's bouncing, it might be because you might have a digit missing, or you've written down a different number than they've mentioned. There might be a credit card limit, or these days, a lot of the banks are getting really good at, detecting potential fraud or scammers and things like cyber fraud, blah, blah, blah. So sometimes what happens is their bank is flagged it as a foreign transaction or a new type of transaction. So you might need to kind of work that process out with them on the spot. So that's why it's so much more important to take payment on the call with these guys, so that they don't just become a flake later on and you don't lose payments, you don't lose sales. You guys are going to get so good at this. So if this happens, let's say 3 times a week, as an example, that's 150 missing sales in the year. That's a lot. That's going to be the difference between where you go away on holidays with your family, or, eventually what car you're driving, and, how many members there are in the building. So definitely these finer points is what's going to separate the pros and the rookies. Now, after the payment's been collected, you should send over, the written agreement to the member's email address, which sometimes can happen automatically through your system. You might also be able to rig this up through your CRM if you're using Wingman and you work with my team closely on this. If you've got your written agreement, it's not our job to gonna give you the legals on this, but if you've got your legals, you've got your contracts and blah, 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 my team might be able to help you rig that up as part of your automation. So when you move someone to S.O.L.V.E.R, they sends that over to you, but no promises on that. It's not something you need to read through on the call. They might not need to accept it. We just want to make sure that you've covered everything from your angle on what you need to do and what you're comfortable with from a business. But, they don't have to sign anything, just like you don't need to sign an agreement when you purchase a new TV or a laptop. But it's good practice to have them sign something like a quick, easy debit form or a written agreement once they are in front of you at the studio during your onboarding process. Now, a big part of making sure that your sale is locked in, committed, and has the best process so they don't become a 7-day refund or they don't continue, which is ultimately the whole jackpot in this whole process, is a world-class post-sale and onboarding experience. Now, that is not limited to, but I'm just going to run through a whole bunch of things here that is common amongst the high performers in our academy. So I'm giving these to you early. It's not an exhaustive list, but it's a great start. Now, the first thing is you've got your onboarding welcome email that you send out to them that cover the initial next steps for your members. So they are always clear and confident about the process from here. You've got a welcome call from someone on your team who will be working with this newbie or with this member. Gives them a buzz, ideally within 24 hours to go, hey, Jane, it's Joe from blah, 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 blah. So great to have you part of this. Sounds like you've got, and then you've probably transferred some details over to them around what their goals are, what they've been missing, what they've been working with in the past. So they feel seen, heard, and cared for. You've given them access and invitations to whether it's a Facebook group, WhatsApp group, or wherever your community groups are, and any other tech that they need to get access to. So this is where you might have download this app, follow us over here, get them involved in your social media accounts as well. So they are really familiar with you guys. Follow the newbie protocol guide here during their first 1 to 4 weeks, which is really, really important. We've filmed that and we've taken you through all of this in this training here. And then what you want to do is you want to connect with them weekly to nurture them and move them further down the line to what we call a rollover, which is the conversion from a newbie to a full-time member paying full price. It's important that this 28 days or 30 days or however long your intro program is, feels like it's a mini program within itself. It's a structured experience rather than just a general 4-week trial where they're in the wild and kind of fending for themselves. Make sure your trainers, your instructors know who to look out for, look after them. They've got talking points so that every single member feels like an individual and they actually feel like they are someone in your community. That's really important. Talk to them about their goals, their outcomes. Doing so well, they used to do X amount, now they're doing this much amount, in terms of reps or how they're going with their training with you and so on and so forth. Now, eventually, as you move through our program, you're going to install what we call our 80% rollover system. Now, this is one of our flagship programs. This is where people, members in our program move from just getting better at leads and sales to then onboarding and rollovers and retention. That's where your money really starts to multiply. It's a full process you'll install once you've nailed your leads and sales. But for now, while you complete your sale a day system installation, the gold standard is a meet and greet at the studio. Okay. That's what we want to get you guys to do, is like get into the habit of meeting and greeting your newbies at your studio. And because that's your chance to indoctrinate them into your studio, your culture, your community, and showcase why your studio is the only choice for these guys. Okay. So we call that an induction where possible. I know every single person that watches this will just go, yeah, we do that. They come down 5 minutes before their first class. Eventually, the more and more you install our systems, the more you're going to realize that there's a better way to do that. And what we opt for is a group induction. We don't go through a lot of that right now as part of your first Saturday system. There's a whole process for this, like I said, in this 80% rollover system, but group inductions are going to be the next level for you. Okay. But for now, just get in the habit of meeting and greeting at the studio, mini tour, mini introductions, walk arounds, the whole thing. Now, success in this stage will come down to you sticking to these protocols, your people and your product experience. And ultimately, it's going to come down to your leadership and you being a great leader in your organization. The question that I always ask every single person in our academy is, how long do you think it takes for someone to know whether your studio is the right studio for them and whether they're going to stay around? The answer is you've got 3 sessions. People know within their first 3 sessions, but what they know comes down to whether you follow the protocol or not. So you should always have the notes you were taking on this call and input them into your CRM. So when you've sold someone, put them into the CRM, your Wingman CRM or whatever CRM that you're using, so that your team can reflect on your call notes and, you know, what these people are looking for, their pain points. It's gold. That is treasure for you and for them. They spend all that time bleeding their heart out to you. Like, treat that information with respect, but also use it for your next sales call. Use it for your ads, like your ad copy. Use it for when you do more content. Use it for more emails out when you write out. Like, really pay attention to what the market is telling you, particularly people that are purchasing from you, because that is the gold. That's why done for you agencies won't work ultimately to the level that you want them to, because you want to take control of all this intel, all this intelligence about your market and your product market fit. Because if you actually use this properly, that is the goal that's going to take you to the next level in all your business, and making sure that you are catering to your market and you're becoming so much more profitable because you know what the market needs and you're flushing it through everything that you do. So the stuff we want you to pay attention to is like the goals, the timeframes, why these goals are important to them, the current pain points, their problems, what's keeping them up at night, their objections, their concerns, their FAQs, right? And then ultimately, how much money you're able to charge over the phone at point of sale, because that's something that as we go through this process, we're going to help you turn that up. We're going to go through a live sales call recording. Ash has been brave enough to send one through.
Hello?
David, it's Ashley calling from UBX Training Mount Eden. How are you doing today?
Oh my God, is that really how you sound, Ashley? Well, that's working. So first up, solid start. If you wanted to spice it up a little bit, if it's you, right, and if it works for you, I'd even like launch with a bit more energy at the start. That's a bit more sort of natural. What was his name? Was his name David?
Yeah, it must have been David.
I'd be like, hey, David. Just like almost that kind of the tonality. It's almost like, yeah, like, and it just hooks them. It hooks them and doesn't sound as telemarketing.
Yeah, good, thanks, Ashley. How are you?
Cool as. Obviously, I'm just giving you a quick call about the Kickstarter promotion that you inquired about here at the gym. So do you want to just start quickly by telling me a little bit about yourself, Dave?
What do I love about this so far? I love that she didn't stop and go like, do you have a moment now? Is now a good time? No one's ever got, like, it's never a good time. Like, no one wants to... So I loved how you just launched into that.
David, like we said before, like aside from health and fitness, what's the David story?
Okay, so great. So how many seconds in are we? Yeah, like apart from the ring, yeah, we're about 20 seconds in. So there was one bit that was missing. And so we know this is a sale, but there was one bit that was missing. Team, just off mute for me so you guys are kind of involved. What's missing if you kind of remember the script? What's missing?
I'll only keep you for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, was that you, Bexy? Are you here?
Yeah, I'm just driving. I'm here.
Yes, it's the pre-frame. We want to get the pre-frame in. Rachel! It's those from F45 wherever, or UBX wherever, or fucking Geronimo Fit. I'm just giving you a quick buzz because your name, I would say something like my team's put your name on my desk as someone to call because I think you just came through on a Facebook lead. So, like, I've only got a couple of minutes, so I'm going to keep it nice and short. But I'd love to know your story, tell you a little bit about what we're doing here, and I will see if it's the right fit, like if this is going to be the right fit for us. Because what that does is it sets up a power frame in your favor. It sets up a power frame in your favor, and automatically, are we recording? Yeah, automatically, whoever controls the conversation wins. Can you type that in the chat for me? Whoever controls the conversation wins. And right from the start, you are establishing the control. Certainty sells. Okay, here we go.
Like a year out of uni.
Yeah.
So first year working. This is my second year working now.
Okay.
And kind of just lost like sports in that. Yeah, I just went gym a bit, but I'm just trying to get back into it.
Okay.
Learn a new skill in boxing.
So it's your second year working this year, and you've lost a bit of the sporting that what you were doing while you were studying. Is that right?
Yeah.
Great. What's she doing there, team? What is she doing there?
Repeating it back to them.
Active listening to build rapport.
Yeah.
Okay. And what are you doing for work now?
At KPMG, so just in an accounting firm.
Yeah.
So what I hear when I say KPMG, accounting firm, I hear young professional, has money, probably needs to feel better at work. The shirt might be feeling a little bit tighter. Maybe the belt has extra holes in the belt. Wants to perform at work. Like we know those big four. I know those big four accounting firms. Like, yeah, it's definitely about that as well.
Okay. And you mentioned that you were keen on getting into some boxing training.
Yeah. Keen to just gain some skills in boxing and lose a bit of weight.
Yeah. Okay. So keen to lose a bit of weight and learn some boxing skills. How much weight are we talking?
Good. What's she doing there, team? Play along.
Specific goal.
Specifics. I need numbers, team.
I've been waiting a bit, but I think I'm like 115. I'd be keen to lose, honestly, realistically, maybe 5 to 8 would be nice.
Yeah. Okay. Should we say a weight loss goal of 8 kg?
Yeah, please.
And what other results are you looking for, David, when it comes to training and exercise?
Definitely get more fit and maybe just a bit more coordinated.
Yeah.
In the boxing, maybe footwork.
Yeah.
Maybe footwork.
Have you done boxing training before?
I've only done box fit a few times.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
CrossFit, but not really boxing.
Yeah. Okay, but you obviously enjoyed the box fit.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. It's fun, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And so you mentioned that it's your second year of you working. So do you feel like you're just in a bit more of a routine now and you can add on some more structure into your fitness?
Yeah, for sure, mornings.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And why is it important for you?
Boom. That's what I was looking for. So we're 2.5 minutes in. That's what I was looking for. 5 to 8 kilos, big four accounting firm. Why is that? What's the real reason why you want to do this?
Why is it important for you to stay fit and healthy?
I think it just helps everything. It's a flow on effect for me. Once I get moving, I know I put in a sweat. Everything else kind of clicks on. I feel like I'm more productive at work.
Yeah.
See, more productive at work. So by the way, I can hear you typing in the background. That could go either way. And you made 88 sales last month or something like that for Live Studios. You can obviously sell. Some people might get thrown off by all that typing in the background. And in terms of in terms, but just play with it. Like as you go, like what's your conversion rate at the moment, Ash?
It sits between 30 and 40, I think, generally.
Yeah. So play with it, right? Because you might find that actually if you sometimes when I feel like because when I had this like the big wolf pack, those that were kind of typing in the background, sometimes it sounded a little bit like you are kind of surveying them rather than actually having a powerful, persuasive conversation and like really engaging in that conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anna used to do the same thing. So Anna, we used to come up with an acronym called SES. I think it was like get specific, engage. I forgot what the other rest was, but like because Anna was doing the same thing. Anna was just like she had massive nails, so she was sounding like hammers on the keyboard. And awesome. I mean, she could sell, but like it was just kind of like, hang on, slow. Oh, it was slow down. It was slow down, engage, and get specific. She was like, awesome. And then the next thing, because like she would walk into the office on the phone making a sale, and it was just kind of like slow things down, actually talk, like engage with the person. So, but anyway, it's awesome that you're taking notes, and everyone should be taking notes when you're making these sales, not because of making the sale, not just because of making the sale, and then to have to do the recap in about 4 minutes. But what do you do with all that intel, team? Tell me.
Pass it to the people that are then doing the rollovers. Well, that's what I do.
Good. And what else? So down the chain for rollovers, and what else? Up the chain for what?
In the like instructors folder and the newbie wave tracker and all of that.
Yep, that's down the chain, but let's go up the chain. How do these people get on the phone in the first place? How they get in front of you in the first place?
For marketing,
The ads,
repurposing.
Ad copy. This is gold. Yes, particularly if you're going after young professionals. Ash, what's the avatar that you guys are going after?
Currently we're going after busy mums.
Well, hang on.
That guy's not. He's total other.
How did this guy get in front of you?
I'm not actually sure. I very, very rarely have young professionals on the phone.
And also it's a dude. So like,
yeah.
Was it an organic lead or something?
It might
be. Wingman?
Yeah, came in through Wingman.
Okay, cool. Well, either way,
He's a bit of an anomaly. I don't get people like him often.
Well, maybe you should because he bought.
Yeah.
Especially with that morning training, is that right? You get that flow-on effect of just feeling good, increased productivity?
Yeah, for sure. Like a good start to the day.
Yeah. And how long have you been thinking about reaching out to us or getting back into a good routine with exercise?
I only started thinking about it in the last.
So, if you notice, team, so here's a pro move. Everyone pay attention. So in terms of like persuasion and sort of, you went down into the emotive state for 20 seconds and then you came up pretty quickly, because then you came up and started talking about timetable and how long you've been thinking about it for. When I get salespeople from 20s and 30% to 40s and 50s, this is one of the most important points, is you've got to stay in the pain cave with them, right? You've got to really understand the pain that they're going through, because they're not going to move on. They're not going to move on unless the pain of staying the same outweighs the pain of the change. They're not going to move on until the pain that they're in right now is so, like they feel it so much that they just can't stand it anymore. Like they have to do something. Otherwise, what happens is in about 8 minutes time when you come in for the close, then you're going to get objections. And so the best way to handle an objection is not to get it in the first place. And how you do that is by making sure that the first part of the call really, again, establishes that pre-frame, which is that authority. And the second thing is like, you really understand the pain underneath what they're saying. Does that make sense, team? You with me? Yeah. And it's actually such a liberating thing, team. Like the chats that I have at this point, it's not about manipulating them. It's actually about like really understanding a day in the life of what they're thinking, a day in the life of what they must be feeling, a day in the life of what is going through their heads at work. I remember this one lady I spoke to, and she was working in an advertising firm, and I used to work in advertising for Telstra, and she said, so her story started very similar, right? I wanted to lose 5 or 8, very, very similar, very, very surface level, very, very similar. I go, okay, before we go on, why is that so important to you? And then she kind of gave me a throwaway line. I said, I forget her name, but I said name, and I changed my tonality. Like I almost like leant in at the desk. I said, why is that important to you? And the tonality shifted, and she goes, because yesterday I got out of the shower and I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror, and I just thought to myself, I look disgusting, was her exact words. Right. And I just, at that point, I just wanted to reach in and fucking give this bitch a hug. And I said, how often, like, how much are you thinking about that every day? And she goes, about 8 hours a day. I said, so you mean all day at work? And she goes, it's all I think about now. Like at that point, team, like the conviction in your voice, because you know that you can help this lady, and that is awful. Like I genuinely want to help these people, right? It's like, well, fucking let's go, bitch. Let's fucking go. Like, and then your conversation, it's not, all of a sudden it's not salesy anymore. You're genuinely helping this person. That makes sense, team? You with me? So my note there would be stay, like really understand it a bit more. Like really understand it a bit more. Don't rush to get out of the pain cave, because you need to really, when you go to the doctor, they don't go, oh, okay, so what are you thinking? And then it's just, oh, I've got a sore throat. Okay, cool. Let me just write some stuff for you. Like, what else? How long have you been feeling that? Like, be that dog. Okay, cool. Like,
last 2 months, like just generally, like I should get back into the sport, but then.
Sorry. And what I want to say about that is don't sell to it. So big tip. I want you guys to type this in the chat. Don't pitch too early. Don't pitch too early. So in this first half, before you even get into the bit after the perfect fit, don't pitch. Don't pitch anything. Don't even talk about, like if someone sits there, and the worst thing I used to hear in the Wolfpack was if someone goes, oh, I just don't have the time. Great. Well, our workouts are only 35 minutes and like, don't pitch yet. This is just intelligence gathering now. You're just getting intel. Don't pitch too early. Why aren't you guys putting that in the chat? I need to know you're following along.
I checked out, I went to another boxing gym yesterday.
Okay.
Just to check out boxing. And then I just moved into a Mount Eden like last week, and so I saw your guys' gym yesterday.
Yeah. Okay.
Just on the bus back. Yeah, so UBX probably the last day.
Yeah. Okay. So UBX is quite local to you too, which is fab.
Yeah, just a walk away.
Yeah, awesome. I love that. And can you tell me a little bit more, David, just briefly about your diet and your nutrition? Do you feel like you're pretty good in that area, or would you like some help here as well?
If I can get help on that, that'd be great. I'm still don't really know much. I just eat anything, to be honest.
Sure. So some extra structure around this could be pretty good.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay. And tell me, David, how's your motivation? Like, are you naturally pretty motivated, or are you someone that needs a little bit more of a push?
I'm pretty motivated. Yeah, I stay pretty motivated. Once it's in the routine, I think it's pretty locked in.
Yeah. You sound like you've got a natural, really good energy about you. You just need a bit of support getting started. Is that right?
Yeah, yes, please. Honestly.
Yeah. So what Ash just did then is called labeling. So you sound like you got really good energy. You sound like you just want to get started, and you sound like it. So what you're doing is that you're labeling them at like a future state of their own current identity. And when you do that, people, as long as they say yes, they have this thing about consistency with their identity. So, you sound like mate, you sound like it's ready for you. You sound like you're fucking fed up with and I really go hard on that. I go, mate, you sound like you're fucking fed up with this shit. And you sound like you really just want to get in there a few times a week, bash the bag, feel really great at work, drop the 5 to 8, prove to yourself that you can still do this. Is that right? Yeah. And you're like, fuck, okay, cool. Let me tell you how we're going to do this. And I just at that point, I grab them by their hand, assume the style, and I go, this is how we're going to do this.
The guidance and I'm there.
Yeah. I so hear that, David. And tell me, how old are you and when's your birthday?
Yeah, I'm 25 and then July 7th.
Okay, so your birthday is July 7th and it's early March, which I don't know about you, but that freaks me out that we're already 2 months into the year.
I know, I'm already, yeah, it's great.
Right? It's wild. How would it feel though if you hit your 26th birthday this July the 7th? You'd lost 5 kgs, so you were well on track to that 8 kg weight loss goal. And more important than anything, you were back in a really good routine with exercise, with your training, with your overall health. You were getting up early in the mornings regularly, smashing out your workout, heading into your day feeling productive and with that really good headspace that you'd been talking about. And as well as that, you'd got some really good structure and some easy, sustainable ways to make your diet and nutrition really work for you. How would it feel to hit your birthday knowing that?
Oh, man, that would make my life, honestly.
Yeah?
At that point, what is it? You're 5 minutes in. That's a sale. Did you guys hear that? You could have even made that bit shorter, Ash. So I didn't keep going. Just a couple of really big points.
Yeah, I noticed that as I was hearing it played back.
Not too much about the detail. Yeah, not too much about the detail.
Down.
But a couple of really big points. What you're doing there is you're playing a future movie. You're sending them into the future. You're giving them a taste of it, right? It's why we try things on at the shop to see what it looks like on us. It's why we test drive cars. It's why we do open homes before we buy the house. We've got to try it on first. So you've helped him try it on. And really amp up the emotion. I used to say, yeah. So, Dave, how would it feel on my 26th birthday? You're in here, you jump on the scales. We're all around you, and I go what does the number need to say on the scale? So then it says 1 kilo less, and I say, and the balloons fall from the ceiling, and the fucking streamers pop, and the fireworks go off. Dude, tell me, fucking how would that feel, man? And then they just get ready to run through a brick wall for that.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
That's cool to hear, David. How would it feel though if you hit your 26th birthday, so officially out of your early 20s, and you'd actually put on more weight?
So she's playing 2 movies now. It's the opposite. Really powerful. Because it's going to come either way. It's going to happen either way, right? You're either going to be there or you're going to be there. It's the 2 futures.
Oh, man, that would suck. Honestly, yeah. I'm already at that peak. I'm at that peak where I'm frick, I need to stop turning around.
Right, so...
My life's gone.
So the alternative's not super exciting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And what do you think you would need from us, your coaches at the gym, to close that gap from where you are today to where you want to get to?
I think...
So Ash... How okay, good. So that's a good part of it. I reckon some of that you've already asked, when you asked about nutrition and accountability and stuff like that. This part is where you do that. So I would go from pre-frame. What's the David story? What are you looking to achieve? Why is that so important? Pain cave. Just I really understand, really help them understand too. When they articulate, they're not talking to their mates about this. They're talking to you, help them unpack it. They've been holding on to this for so long, help them unpack it. Because then when they hear it, it really, if it fires, it wires up there in the brain. So why is that so important? Yeah, okay, great. So then if we bang, and then you play the 2 stories, and then cool. So there's obviously a bit of a gap between where you are now and where you need to be for your birthday. What do you think you need from us? What do you think you need from us? And then what they say, they're going to say it in their language. in real people language. And then what I'm expecting you to do here, or if you're not, this is what I want you guys to do, is then label it with what it is that you offer, right? So if they go, I don't really know what to eat, you go, okay, cool. So nutrition coaching, you need nutrition coaching. I fucking hate working out by myself. Oh, so you want to train in a community? Yeah. Like group training? Yeah, better. Okay. I don't really know what I'm doing when I go into the gym. Perfect. So you need programs designed specifically to drop 5 to 8, kilos of fat, not muscle. And they'll say I find it really hard to stick to a routine. Okay, cool. So you need to kick up the ass. You need some accountability. Yes. That's how this next bit should go.
Just a bit of guidance. Like, honestly, the nutrition part would be nice just to figure out what to eat. And then, probably just on me to keep attending and, in terms of the skill, probably just like helping with form and stuff. Yeah.
It's exactly what I just said, right? Like, so nutrition coaching. Okay, cool. Then you need training.
General guidance would be awesome.
Yep. Okay. I'm going to give you a quick recap on what we've just.
So much more powerful, actually, instead of just taking the notes there and like taking an order from him, like an order taker, is to label. To label. Because when you label, you're creating, type this in the chat team, when you're labeling, you're creating buyer safety. You're creating buyer safety. And people won't, in about 4 minutes when you pitch him, people won't buy unless they feel safe. And how you make them feel safe is like, yes, that's what I need. Yes, I didn't even know that was called. That's what it was called. But yes, that thing, I need it. I've bought an old car, kind of a childhood dream. And I expect things to be wrong with it at the moment because it was like a barn find. Anyway, so I've been driving it around and it's fucking noisy. As in, like, there's a weird, funny sound and I know nothing about cars, but there's a weird, funny sound whenever I turn the corner. So when I rang up the mechanic and I was explaining what was going on, he goes, oh, so that's the power steering pump. It probably makes a lot of noise, right? I was like, oh, yes. That's exactly what, I don't know. Yeah, okay, cool. That's exactly what it is then. And then they fixed it. Like, that's it. And it almost didn't matter how much it cost because, like, I knew that this guy knew what the hell was going on and I felt safe giving him the money. Make sense?
Just chatted about, David, so I can make sure I've got this right. So it's your second year working out of uni this year. You've lost a lot of the sport that you were doing while you were studying, and as a result, you have started to see the weight start coming on. You've got a weight loss goal of 8 kg. You're keen to lose boxing, get fitter. You're keen to learn boxing, get fitter and more coordinated. You know this is going to be an awesome routine for you because you've done box fit in the past and really enjoyed that part of the workout. This is important to you because of the flow-on effect that you know that your morning's workout have on your day. For example, your increased productivity, you're in a really good headspace, you've been thinking about this for a while and you're ready to make the change now. You're naturally a really motivated, good energy kind of guy. It would just be helpful for you to have some accountability, getting back into the routine and getting started, especially around that diet and nutrition.
I just make that shorter. I would just make that bit shorter and punchier so you don't lose his attention. Yeah? Because like what I'm hearing is he's on the road somewhere, there's some cars going by. Like we don't want to get into the point where he's like, I kind of got to go because it's taking too long. Yeah.
Nutrition will build some structure around this so that you know that you're getting the right energy into your body so that you can be the best version of yourself. Have I got that right?
Yeah, that is the one actually.
Cool. All right. Now, the way that we can achieve this, David, is through that Kickstarter program that you saw advertised and you inquired about, okay? The reason why I feel like it would be a really good fit for you is because it's a 1-month training program designed specifically for people like you that need some accountability, motivation, and support to get them back into a routine, right? So we're going to aim to...
So you know how you just said right? That's perfect. Wait till he says yes. Wait till he says yes. You want to get 4 yeses. To
get you into the gym 2 or 3 times a week. Would that be doable for you?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Now, you mentioned you were a morning training kind of guy. So, like, how early are we talking? We open at 5:30.
So I never ask an open-ended question when you get down towards the close. You go 5:30 or 6:30. Yeah? We start narrowing things down now. So Ash, you did a terrific job. Like, no wonder you're making 400 sales a day. Like, terrific job at the first half, right? Like gathering the intelligence, creating bias safety, taking epic notes, and like really establishing a rapport with this person. I could almost tell, like I'd be very surprised if there was any objections here. A couple of little tweaks for you, which will get you to jump your conversion rates. But right now, this is when it's kind of like, now it's game time, and you start funneling things down. You start getting really sharp now to like lead them to the close. Okay, so it's now like, this is the business end of the chat. So it's like alternate closes when you ask them questions, like this or that, this or that, this or that. You know, we're just like, we're getting sharp here. And I want to hear you, and you probably will, but when whoever's listening on the call, like, I want you to like keep pressing on that bruise, like keep talking about their goal specific. So where like I hear calls go a bit soft is when they say things like this. Designed for guys like you that are looking to get results. You're just like, I just spent fucking 8 minutes talking to you, talking about the results, as if it's like a generic thing. Like, talk to me about my shit.
Is there a shower at UPS?
Yes, there is.
It'd probably either be like 5:45 or 6.
Perfect. Okay, so we'll do 5:40 a.m. or 6 a.m. training.
You hear what's happening there, Rach? Rach or Bexy? I know Ash, you're at work, but what did Ash? If you heard her say that, what did you pick up on what she just did then? I'll try and.
She gave him an A or B option, but that's it.
Good. What else? Yeah, let me try and.
Okay, so we'll do 5:40 a.m. or.
It was tiny. It was a nuance.
She's putting it in his calendar.
Yeah.
Like
so
she's confirming the time.
And so what is that?
Like he's trying it on, or no?
Yeah, you're
Painting the picture.
It's a really powerful move that Ash just did then. It's tiny if you picked it up. So yes, she's putting it in the calendar as in like that is the action she's doing. But what
she said that he's trains at that time. Like that's his session. Like he's part of the 5 or 6 crew.
Oh my God, look at the fireworks. But like step back a bit. Like what technique is she actually doing? Less about her action, but what technique is she doing when she says that? This is what's so good. You guys are making sales and you don't even know. Like, you don't even realize you're doing some powerful techniques. She's assuming the sale. She's assuming the sale. She's like, oh, okay, cool. So we'll put you in for the 540. Like, okay. Like, she's just assuming the sale. Let's hear it again. I love doing this.
Be like 5:45 or 6.
Perfect. Okay, so we'll do 5:40 a.m.
So we'll do 5:40, like totally assuming the sale.
a.m. or 6 a.m. training.
Yep.
2 or 3 times a week. Great. Now, on top of the training programs that you're going to work through with us, we're going to give you one-on-one diet and nutrition.
See, like on top of the training programs that you're going to work through with us, we'll give you one-on-one diet. Like, okay, I suppose we're doing this then.
Nutrition coaching as well. So we're going to look at what you're currently eating. We've got meal plans that you can jump onto. We've also got recipe ideas that will help you out, and we'll integrate that so that it is super fun and super tailored to you. How does that
So Ash, how I'd fucking like again get you to 50% conversion rates and 40s and 50s, or your same conversion rates and just charge more for it, more money for leave, more money for you, is like you go through all that stuff, but you've got to loop it back to their goal. To this, but don't get generic, right? So, dude, these are the nutrition plans. This is what's going to help you drop your 5 to 8 by your birthday. This is the shit you need. So don't listen to Susan at work. Don't listen to Jeff at the pub. Listen to me. This is what you're going to need to drop the 5 to 8. Cool?
How does that sound good to you?
Oh, that's perfect. That is
cool.
Perfect.
Awesome, David. I'm stoked to hear that. So this Kickstarter program, David, it actually begins this Thursday. We have an induction session at 6:30 p.m.
Did you hear what he did? Did you hear something? Did you hear his reaction or not? Saying, did you hear his reaction? So I listen to everything. You got to hear everything in the call because you're looking for cues, particularly at the business end of the sales call. You've got to listen to cues because the cues tell me whether this guy is ready to buy or not, right? And if I don't hear the right things, I won't continue because I hate follow-ups, man. I was too busy for follow-ups. Screaming kids, like cooking in the kitchen, like dealing with the studio. Like you get so busy, like pretend you can't do follow-ups. So just get really good at sales calls. But listen to this.
Day, we have an induction session at...
I missed it. I didn't miss it. I want to get earlier. Listen.
Start a program, David. It actually begins this Thursday. We have an induction session.
What'd you hear?
He agrees and he's like,
He's ready.
Bro, you could have said this thing costs $500 and he would have paid for it.
At 6:30 p.m. Would you be...
And I love that you're doing inductions, Ash. Fuck, I love it.
Be able to make that?
It's nice of you to ask, but I'd be like, I need you there.
I should be able to make that, yeah.
See, because then you're like, would you be able to make that? Like, it's sometimes like we want to reserve. I really want you to grab this, guys. We want to reserve, like we've only got, all of us, and Bexy knows this, we only have a certain amount of decisions in us a day. Don't we? Which is why scientifically willpower as a thing, scientifically proven, actually wears off on us later on towards the end of the day. That's when we hit the ice cream. That's when we make bad decisions at night. Because we've only got so many decisions in us a day, and then we can exercise that. But that's why Steve Jobs wore the same thing every day. Like Obama wore, he had two, it was the Navy or the fucking, the jackets. Like Zuckerberg, a lot of people wear the same thing every day because it reduces decision fatigue. My wife's a psychologist. Yeah, and there's a lot that they do around reducing the decision fatigue. So you don't want to ask them too many friggin' little questions before the big one, which is Visa or MasterCard. You with me? You with me? So can you make it? It's like, I need you there. Cool. Just help this guy.
Okay, awesome. That's just a chance to get to know the coaches. We'll do a little bit more.
Don't say just a chance. Because when you say just, you're playing it down. And then for them, they might feel, if I can, I could probably miss it if I need to. No. David, the reason why you're going to lose 5 to 8 by your birthday, and I'm going to high five the fuck out of you, is because you got to this induction, okay? Everyone that loses 5 to 8 in the amount of time that you need to, they were at this induction. I need you there.
More planning into what you want to achieve with us through the 1 month, and we'll talk you through how we're going to keep you accountable as well. Okay, it's just half an hour, and then following that,
don't say just
induction session.
But you can say what I used to say was it's not a workout. Don't worry about running home and getting changed. Just I don't care if you turn up in your workout gear. There's a few people I want you to meet. Okay, that will help you on your journey.
You can come and start training with us either on Friday morning, Saturday morning, even if you want a weekend hit out, or you can start fresh next week. How does that sound?
Awesome. Yeah, no, that sounds great.
Cool, David. We're also going to give you accountability and motivational coaching, okay? That's some of our members' most favourite part of what we do. So just to explain that a little, what that means is you will tell us the sessions that you want to come in for, okay, that you're aiming for during the week.
So I would loop back to, remember how you said that was an issue for you? Well, to lose the 5 to 8, we've got to do this, okay? We're going to keep you on track. We're not going to lose you.
And if we haven't seen you, we're going to give you a call and we're going to be like, yo, David, what's happening?
Yeah.
We need to see your ass in the gym to get you into that routine and get those results, okay?
Yep.
So we're going to keep you accountable and motivated. Does this program sound like something that would help you out?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Cool, David. Now,
Do you know what that was, team? I think I've written it in the script, but I'm texting you guys. Do you know what that was? When Ash goes, Sebastian, all that, do you reckon this will help you? Like, do you reckon this is the right fit for you? Like, do you reckon this is the program? Do you reckon this is what you're looking for? What actually is that?
It's the yes train, isn't it?
You are getting them on the yes train. Yes, you are. But that moment right there, as opposed to just a question that you know is going to be a yes, but that thing right there.
That's the sale, the close.
What was that?
That's the close.
It's not the close. It's a trial close. Yes. It's a trial close. What I'm doing there is I'm just seeing if he bites. Like if I get a little nibble there, you know, really, really crucial. Trial. You're just seeing if they fucking have a little nibble there. Because if they do, I'm running hard at the close right now. If they don't, if they go, I actually don't continue, team. I don't continue. Because you're just going to get a fucking objection. So hang on a second. Whoa. What do you feel like is missing, Dave? Like I'm looking for, like, do you guys do yoga? Like, I don't, like what you guys are going to learn is going to be so fucking powerful. Persuasion, influence, and a bit of sort of language programming and stuff like that. Like, I don't ever want you guys to use that like unethically just to get the sale. If it genuinely is not what they're looking for, I point them in the right direction because I want to sleep good at night. And I don't want to fuck up the rollovers down the chain. Because I actually want a healthy, and for owners listening to this in the background, I want a healthy tension between whoever's at the studio accountable for rollovers and whoever's accountable for sales. I want them going, I want the rollover team saying, fucking send more people down, mate. We're flying. Who else you got? And then the salespeople yelling up the chain going, where are my fucking leads? Feed me. And then vice versa. I want the rollover team saying, dude, that guy was a binge. Like it wasn't the right fit. Like, stop sending shit people like stop sending the ones down that like aren't looking for this. They're looking for yoga or they're looking for a pool. We don't have a pool in here. We do want that. We do want that.
Now, the Kickstarter program, as I said, kicks off this Thursday. We only take 15 people for the program because we do give you a lot of one-on-one support. Now, the entire cost of the program is just $140.
Oh, you missed. Okay, so, my favorite bit. You missed it. So, you ready for this? What did she miss?
The dramatic drop.
Oh, the dramatic drop. Yes.
It's my favorite part too.
Oh, it's my favorite. Yes, Bexy. It is my favorite part. So, because you want to price it up, like for everything we've just like, fuck with this and 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 this. It's normally worth 400, whatever the number is, right? Like, don't take the piss, but like whatever the number is. But because you've come through this, because you've come through the promotion and you're one of the first 15 exclusivity, that 456 comes down to just whatever the number is. I don't even say dollars. I just goes that 456 comes down to just $213 or whatever the number is. And I listen to their reaction. But you've got to do now only comes down to just like you want to go boom. Yeah?
$49. How does that sound to you?
Yeah, no, that sounds great.
So that's a second trial close. But I don't even go, how does that sound to you? I would just go, oh shit. Hang on, let me get it back. So I would just go,
advert will help you out through the 1 month that you're aiming for during the week. Now, the Kickstarter program, as I said, kicks off this Thursday. We only take 15 people for the program because we do give you a lot of one-on-one support. Now, the entire cost of the program is just $149. How does that sound to you?
So again, I don't do the how does that sound to you. I'd go, bang, dramatic drop, and I go, it's just $149. And I'm listening to his reaction. Right? I'm listening to his reaction. But how does that sound to you? I feel like kind of you disempower yourself in that part right there. Okay, it's just down to 149. Okay? Cool.
So when you say the price, when you say the price, like you just said, do you go straight into, so it's just $149 and then you wait for their reaction and you say, now getting started is really simple. I've already got your email. Do you
pretty
go
much,
straight
man.
into that?
Yeah, pretty much. I'll make it flow depending on how much vibe I'm, with the person on the phone. So
right.
pretty much.
That sounds great.
Cool, David.
He's just like, take my money is what he's saying at the moment.
Now, what we do if you're keen to get you registered for the program.
Not if you're keen. He is giving you permission to help a brother out.
As I set you all up in the system now, we'll process that one-off payment over the phone and then you're all good to go. You just show up to induction on Thursday. I'll send you a receipt and a confirmation with all the details.
Buyer safety, you see?
And then you're ready to go. You can get started with us Friday morning, Saturday morning, or whenever suits you. Are you keen to get started?
Nah, I wouldn't even ask. I would just go. So for that $149, do you want to put that on your Visa or your MasterCard? And then, hang on, it's only 4 seconds left.
Yeah, yes, please.
Yeah. I'm so amped for you, David.
Hello, is this Mary?
Okay, great. So I would go all that sort of stuff, and then I go, great, for that $149, do you want to put that on your Visa or your MasterCard? Visa, great. You like the numbers. And if you want to, if you're feeling hot to trot, and you're confident in that part, some pro tips that do actually increase conversion rates in that moment is for a bit of social proof and a bit of social safety, I say things like, do you want to put that on your Visa card or your MasterCard like everyone else this morning? I've had MasterCards all day. So does it start with a 5 or a 4? Do you know what I mean? I say or if they say Visa, I go, oh shit, everyone's Visa today. Well done, Ash. Honestly, that was really solid. And there's a few extra points. What did you pick up? Give me 3 things that you've picked up that you're excited to put into the next calls and increase your conversion rates.
The biggest thing for me is working on my clothes. I disempower myself a lot.
You do. Yeah.
Are you keen? How does that sound to you?
Is it okay? Is that okay if I save your fucking life?
Yeah.
Well, that day I walked in, they wheeled me into the hospital when I was having a heart attack. Then you go, is it okay if we operate, or do you want to think about it?
Would you prefer
fucking doing this, bro?
Yeah. So the biggest thing is getting more, just establishing my confidence with the clothes and just going for it rather than continually asking are you keen? Shall I register you? Shall I take your payment? Do it. The other thing is being snappier with the recap. Because I am conscious of the fact that I am taking time out of someone's day, and time's our biggest commodity. Yeah. So let's not lose them. And then being snappier right from the get-go when they pick up the phone. Yeah. I think off the top of my head, I've written quite a few notes, but off the top of my head, those are the 3 biggest things. The one biggest thing is definitely not losing my power in the clothes.
Yeah, massively. Yeah. Ash, what was your background before this? What did you do before this?
I did marketing.
Where?
So I was a freelance marketer. So for a lot of different places within the health and wellness space. Yeah. And before that, I did sales for a magazine, but it was very, very different to sales for a gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mate, you're a natural. You're awesome.
You're really good, Ash. I really enjoyed that.
Thanks. Or like,
You're
look,
like so
and like when you hear it played back to you, you're like, why am I like, what's all this faff? Like,
Right.
it's always hard hearing yourself back as well. But yeah, you were really good. That was awesome.
We do in the Wolfpack and even in our sales team internally now, like daily role play. We do daily role play. We listen back to call recordings and go, oh God. Or like what sales am I going for? Like how many sales did I do yesterday? What was my learning? Like what's my target for today? And what am I going to focus on? Like there's some really good questions to prep yourselves into the day to just prime yourself for making these calls because the conviction that comes across in tonality and Magic's back today, I think. We'll do a session in the next month around some tonalities. Because Ash, you were doing like the conversion rates that you're hitting at the moment and the number of sales you're hitting at the moment is great. But when you actually, I think when we get salespeople from good to great, all it is like they've got some abilities, and all we're doing is actually like helping them like formalize the actual techniques that they didn't realize they were doing. So you were doing a lot of things that you probably didn't realize you were doing, but you were. And I'm sure Bexy and I'm sure Rach, you do the exact same thing as well. So things like the trial close, the yes train, the 7 touches. There's different tonalities that we want you guys to kind of get introduced to as well, that you use at different points throughout the sales calls in order to increase the buyer safety, increase rapport, and also like create more persuasion on your side of the fence. So good shit. Who's going to bring the next sales recording? Rach is good. Rach, I'm going to hold you to that, okay? Team, any questions? That was really... Rach, where did you go from that? And Bexy, what did you grab from that? I want to know. I'm curious. Someone hit me. Just off mute.
Okay. I really loved how the way you just made it more natural when you were like saying cool and it didn't sound like you were following a script.
Following a script or taking an order. Because then the power balance, if you're just taking an order.
Yeah.
And then you come out with like, I'll take your money now. They go, oh, hang on.
Yeah. No, I felt like it sounded like just a conversation with mates and you were just trying to be like, oh, why this? And you repeated back what he said a lot of times. I don't normally do that. I wait for the recap. So that was cool to hear how much you repeated back everything he was saying. That was good.
Right. Good pickups. Right?
I like how she assumed the sale, like she knew it was going to happen. So having that, you can just feel her confidence that she knew it was going to happen. I think that sometimes we're confident, but once we've been shut down, X amount of times that day, she was ready to go and knew that sale was going to be closed.
Yeah. Right. The trial close is such a power move that, and assuming the sale. Yeah, 100%. 100%. So what I'd love is someone to bring a call recording next week that is a no sale. I love no sales, team. Ask any of the Wolfpack, my second favorite answer is a no. Because at least it's a fucking answer. What I hate is I'm going to talk to my mum. I need to talk to my dog's brother. Like I need to talk to my fucking ex. Like maybes. I hate maybes because then we lost someone on the call, But no's, I love no's. I can work with no's. So find me a no and come back. Sweet. Team?
Thank you. That was super helpful.
Ash, awesome, mate. Well done. You're awesome. Bye.